Hello! Hi! Hello everyone, this is Emily from Olive and Joyce and I make skincare for a living, and I thought I would come on here because I've been asked a couple of times from people from the Instagram and people emailing me actually asking if I would do a YouTube video, YouTube blogging, and I was like no, and I feel like this month is the right month for me. So I am starting it, and you'll know why I feel like it's the right time for me. But yeah, I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just make one, and I can either have one view or I can have no views. What's the worst that's going to happen? Nothing. Apart from you just see a slight vulnerability in me where I've realised that my collar is really wrinkled. I realise that this jumper makes me look like I've got a real tiny little pinhead. I've got an eyeball to my left and a mouth to my right, and when I sit up and look forward you can see the light which is blaring in front of my phone, because of otherwise I looked really dark and it was just like, where is she? Is she over there? Is she over there? Anyway, this is my first time of doing a video, and I thought, oh, do you know what, why the hell not? So let's see how we get on. I can't guarantee how long I'm going to be chatting for, but let's just have some fun. So the reason I think it's a good time to start is because I've got quite a nice subject that I would like to talk about, and I could talk about skincare all the time, and you probably know me for my skincare, but it's something that actually I don't want this YouTube video to be about, all about skincare. I want it to be about other things. And so basically what's happening in my life is I am coming up to 44, and over the last year I have been showing a lot of signs of the perimenopause. I have, like, my middle waist, well, I say waist, used to be there, it's no longer there. That area is changing. I don't mind it, it's just different for me. I used to be like a size, not a size 8, God I wish. I used to be like a figure 8. Now when I think of numbers, I am probably looking more like the shape of a 0. That's probably where I'm going now, which is fine. Again, like, love yourself and all that. And my skin has been so itchy, not the outside, luckily, because I have skincare for that. So I'm feeding that, but it's the inside. It's underneath the skin. It feels like I've got like it. Oh, it's just like, oh, you're like, it just feels like you've got stuff underneath, and it's just like really itchy. My scalp, oh my God, it's like, it's not dry. Again, it's not dry, but it's itchy. And I've been feeling really hot at night, which is fine because it's been really, really cold. But during the summer, I was cooking. And I've become really sensitive towards certain food. So I have recently become gluten-free, stopping sugar. I'm also vegan. So my, and also become really sensitive to nightshade vegetables, which is ideal. So my food at the moment is, yeah, it's really interesting. It's carrots and sweet potatoes. So yeah, everything has just become quite, it's all changing for me. So I thought what I would do is I would talk about, on this channel, about my journey with my perimenopause, because this month I decided enough was enough. Like, honestly, you can give me a 0 body shape, you can give me itchy skin, but when you give me a few pimples, that isn't it. I've literally had enough. So I've been recently getting quite a few spots here, and I had one here as well, and one right in the end of the nose, which is not great when you're a single person like me, to have a bright red little spot here. So I was just like, okay, this is enough now. So I went to the doctors. We spoke about HRT, and honestly, it's something that I'm really quite worried about. But when I feel like I've done everything else, like eliminate all the foods, and I've been microdosing with mushrooms, and I've been taking lion mane, I've been doing everything I possibly could, but the fog is still up here, still there. I feel my anxiety level has tripled. And I just thought, no, do you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. So I was recommended Everell, and I'm really like, it's very bizarre. I've always gone down the natural route, and so to be given this, it's like, okay, shit's getting real. And it's a patch. So I had options of having gel and then minging the coil, which it's just not for me, thank you very much. I also got given the options of tablets, but I forget to brush my hair, let alone take a tablet every day at the moment. So, and also they're not vegan, so I was just like, oh no, thank you. So, there was another option as well, but none of them felt right. So we're going to go for a patch. And I thought, well, today you have to do your patch around your period. So I thought, let's do it today. Let's give it a go. So we're going to open it together. We're going to look at this. Like, this is what worries me about Western medicine. And I know that, like, this is just me. I'm not representing everybody else. But hey, look at that. Like, oh, and it's like still going. Like, what the F? I mean, like, this is encouraging, isn't it? I've read some of it. It took an absolute beast to try and fold it back up. It was quite funny. It was like, remember the old road maps when you were growing up before the old sat-nav? It was, yeah, so that was quite amusing trying to wrap that up. Basically, it tells you all of the side effects, what to look out for, what to not do. And then there was a tiny little section, which I found most important, which was what to do, which was this little bit here is what to do. So that little blob there is telling you where to pop it. So I had a choice. I have to obviously find a hairless area below my waist, which, yeah, quite hard when you're dark. You're female. Don't want to go into too much information. So anyway, I thought, okay, so I have a choice of my upper outer thigh or my bum. So I'm going to go for my bum. And then it's so bizarre because it then talks, you have to wear it every single day and you have to change it. Change it every 3 days and then every 4. And I've realised as soon as I stick one of these on and my body does like it, for example, I've realised that this is what I'm going to be having on my body for, I don't know, maybe 10 years. I don't know how. I don't know. It might be a month, it might be 10 years, but either way I'm going to have a patch on my body for 10 years. And it's so bizarre, like the feelings that I'm going through. Like, it's just such a bizarre feeling. Like, I'm single. Like, if I was going to go down the whole meeting of a partner again, it's going to be like, hi for me and hi for my patch. It's like, it's such a weird, vulnerable feeling to suddenly go, oh, I'm getting a bit older now and I've got a patch on me. I don't know. It's a really very, very odd feeling. I'm sorry if I'm blabbering on, but most people would probably write a script on what they're going to talk about, but I was just like, nah, let's just go for it. So, yeah, so this is my new journey, and I thought this is what my YouTube could be about, is about a little bit about my whole menopause, how I'm feeling, whether I'm getting on with them, But then also I will give a few skincare tips just because that's what I absolutely love. And I will just talk about just like fun little facts. Like, yeah, I can't remember if I've already told you, but I've about if you have a spot here, which I've had, like, oh, I've had it for about 2 weeks now, and it was a massive red spot. And this here, if you look at the Chinese face mapping, is your ovary. So we have one either side, and whichever side our egg is released on is the side where you get a little spot. So next time you get that little spot, it's usually once a month, you will know, or it'll feel a bit tender, you'll know what side your little egg fell down. So this time it was this side, so oh, nice little left, I think it was right ovary because it's always on the other side. Anyway, I'm blabbering again. So yeah, and I just wanted to kind of talk about, yeah, skin and menopause, really. Like, my skin has massively changed in the last 5 years. It's so, I'm noticing now that when I put my cream on, it's like, thanks. It feels dry. It feels so much drier. I'm having to do a lot more exfoliating as well, so the skin cells are turning over much, much quicker. So, yeah, I just basically, let's just see how we get on. I'm trying not to move my head so you don't see the light in front of me to light up my face, because I was very dark before I had this like little light. Honestly, I was like, hiya, I'm an old lady and I'm crawling out from a corner. Anyway, let's go back to this. You have, right, so you have all these little patches. It's like pick one, pick one, pick one. You have 4 of the Everil 50E, and then you have 4 of the Everil Conti. And basically, these are what you put, the Conti ones are what you put on in the 3rd and 4th week, and this is what you're at the E ones, E50s, or whatever they're called, it sounds like a car, doesn't it, is what you put on in the first 1 and 2 weeks. So I'm not going to give you a demonstration, because when I was talking to my mum, who's obsessed with YouTube channels, she's always watching her bloggers, she watches a lot of knitting bloggers, and I was saying to Mum, I was like, look, I've been having a lot of people asking me about me doing a YouTube channel, and I don't really want to talk about skincare all the time, because as much as I love it, it's also going to be a bit meh. So I've got an idea of doing a YouTube channel about my journey with perimenopause and how I'm coping and what I'm doing to help me cope, and yeah, just seeing how it goes on. And I said, so Mum, on my first YouTube week, my first chat I'm going to do is I want to open up the box and show you what the patch looks like, which is what I'm going to do now. And then I said, do you think it'd be a bit too much if I then put it on my bum in front of everyone? I won't obviously show people my bum, but I was going to put it on my bum while talking to everybody. Well, bless her little face. She thought that I'd lost the plot completely. So I decided not to put you all through that. You can thank my mum for that. But I will put it on after I've kind of taken it out and shown you, but I'll do that after. But anyway, so I've just taken out this foil, and I am presuming, yes, okay, so can you see, yeah, this little plastic, so that is the patch. It's got a marking of SE50 on it, super, so that's going to be my new name. And yeah, I presume you just do that and stick it on your bum cheek. Oh God, honestly, it feels really bizarre, like having to do this. I'm like, it feels exciting. It feels exciting and then also quite nerve-wracking. I have enjoyed the older me and getting older, every year I just feel I've gone up a level in the games. If you're playing a computer game, I'm like, oh, I've completed that level, yay! And then I go up a level. And I remember my 20s and 30s, it was so hard. It was always so depressed, always, like, it's so bizarre. And then literally I got to 40 and it felt like I'd gone into this world of fuck it, 40. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh, fuck it, it's 40. And it was suddenly like, it felt such a relief that I was finally able to wear the shoes that I've always wanted to wear. Like, I remember being little. I have a daughter who is 10 and she's such an old soul, and I just remember always feeling older. So when I got older, it's like, oh, my shoes, they finally fit. And I really feel like my soul is in their 40s. And so I'm like prime. I love it. And I feel like I've caught up to my soul now. And every year that I get that little bit older, me and my soul are like in connection now. We're like, oh yeah, this is so much fun now. We're doing a bit of a dance. So I can't dance, but I just feel like I finally found my feet and it just feels really fab. So though I am nervous about starting HRT, and I'm nervous because of the huge, you remember, like the Willy Wonka instructions, isn't it? Like, whoa. I am nervous about this because this really does not make me feel comfortable at all. But I'm just going to go. I'm just going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. And I will try something else. Just mama needs a little bit of help. And I'm aware of that. So shortly, I'm going to go and stick that on my bum cheek. I might go for my right, you know. That's what I feel like it. I feel like because I'm right-handed, that's the bum cheek I'm going to go for. And yeah, I'll come on next week and I will let you know how I get on. And yeah, more importantly, I want to see how my skin feels, because it feels like everything at the moment is crawling. So it'll be interesting to see what is going to be the first thing, if anything. What will be the first thing that I feel better on? And that's what I kind of want to share with my journey. Will it be my skin that feels best? Oh, please. Or will it be the foggy brain, which I don't mind actually, though I get a little bit confused. It's I prefer to be a bit foggy than to be completely alert, because I've got nothing to blame it on then. And then, yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. But yeah, I thought I'd come on, start my YouTube channel with my perimenopausal journey, and I'm going to do I'm going to do this channel one day. I might be making creams. You could be with me, and I can talk about my perimenopause symptoms and la da da. But or I could talk about something else. Yeah, there was one thing I actually, because maybe some of you are like going, what the hell? Who the hell is this? Who is Olive Enjoys? So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background. So as I said at the beginning, my name is Emily and I am the founder of Olive Enjoys Skincare. My skincare is 100% natural. I go by the saying, if I can't eat it, it's not going on my face. And Olive and Joyce were my grandmothers. So I named my business after my grandmothers because I've always wanted my own business, but to do it for myself, it felt really quite selfish. I had like these conflicting ideas. Like, I'd been a mum for 8 years and I'd been a full-time mum for 8 years. I know people go like, oh, you're a full-time mum anyway. But I meant, like, I gave up my entire life, my entire career to pick up my kids from school, to feed them dinner, to do the washing and everything like that. Bloody hard work. But I did that for 8 years. And so when situations changed, I separated from my children's dad, I needed to get a job. And so I struggled because I was just like, well, what do I do? I'd had postnatal depression twice. I had no confidence, like no confidence. I didn't know what to do. When people asked me, oh, how's Tabitha and Evan? And I can tell you, and how are you doing, Emily? And it was like, don't know how I am, but I can tell you how the household are, how they're doing. I can even tell you how the washing machine is. It was making a big noise last week, but I didn't know how I was feeling. And so I really struggled about the idea of going back to work because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and what I would be good at and how I would fit in. So I started making face creams. I had a massive interest in making face creams when my daughter was first born. And what spurred me on to make my face creams was because I had postnatal depression, and I was so scared that any of those chemicals from regular face creams were going, it was like the anxiety was enormous, that those chemicals were going to somehow cause damage to my child. And it really, really scared me. So I started experimenting with making, and it was the reason I straight away think about making face cream is because that's what my mum did when I was growing up in the kitchen. I just didn't, when I moved out of home, I didn't want to do it myself because it's just not cool to do what your mum did, isn't it? It's like, oh, if I'd known now, I would have done it from the very beginning. But yeah, our journeys always go a different way, don't they? They usually go in circles, though. This is what I'm noticing the older I get. It's like, oh, I'm now doing what my mom did, and things like that. So I started making face creams and just making creams. I was making, not just creams, I was making dishwasher powders. I was making washing machine powders. The whole house constantly stunk of white vinegar because I was making my own cleaning sprays. So yeah, I was just doing a lot of making because of the postnatal depression that I had. I then had my son. I had postnatal depression with him. So the anxiety of germs and what I felt like were poisonous chemicals was just escalating more and more and more. And it was only when I separated and I knew that I needed to get a career that I suddenly started thinking, well, what do I enjoy doing? Don't know. I don't even know who I am. So what I did was I started writing down things that I did every day, and which ones kind of made me feel like I had a bit of a purpose. And one of it was making creams. I felt like I had a purpose because what I was doing was I was protecting my children. This is what my brain was doing. And so I thought, oh, okay, so maybe I could look at selling what I make. But then I was like, okay, that's a great idea, but I'm also really quite nervous, but it's a great idea. So what is the business going to be called? And I started thinking, Emily Kitchen, and it didn't feel right. So then I thought, okay, what about Tabitha and Ev? That didn't feel right. And I started looking at my ancestors, and I then realised, well, I started writing down what my ancestors were like. So my grandmothers were strong, they were fierce, they were brave, they were everything that I wanted to be at that time. So for me, suddenly one day it was like Olive and Joyce, and it was like ka-ching, and that was the name. So my business represents these strong, two very strong, fierce women, and my God, they were fierce. Like they were awesome, but they argued a lot because they were both so strong, but they always bickered, and it's like, it was so funny, like, to hear my grandmas arguing all the time. So Olive and Joyce were my grandmothers. I was taught this trade by my mum, and yeah, one of my most favourite childhood memories was in the kitchen. And oh, my mum used to make the most amazing, amazing cakes, and made everything from scratch. It was just incredible. Like, I remember making millionaire shortbread, oh, my favourite. But also you'd go in the kitchen, and not only would she be making our dinner, but in the other pot she would have a big big old cylinder, and it was like, it was the lotions, and then all around it was her aromatherapy oils. So I watched her do that, and then I watched her make her meals, and it was just so amazing to be that child, and watching my mum help so many people. Like, she used to have people come to the door, her customers, because they would have back massages. She was also aromatherapist. She also did reflexology, and she used all her own lotions and creams. So it was just so lovely to watch her grow with just natural ingredients. And so yeah, this is Olive Enjoys. It's we could say it's a family business for sure. It's female run or female inspired, and so yeah, not only am I going to be talking about my perimenopause journey, but I'm also just going to be kind of talking about, yeah, like my little memories that I have, childhood memories, or what I've seen that day. I'm quite a chatterbox. I am the only adult in the house a lot of the time. So a little bit like Shirley Valentine, I talk to the wall, or I talk to my plant, Mrs. Aloe Vera. She's ever so nice. She's huge, and she's a huge aloe vera plant. And they say that your plants grow because you talk to them. And honest to God, I'm going to show you her one day, because she sits in my kitchen, and she has filled up the entire window now. But yeah, she's a good listener. She's lovely. So I am going to probably use this YouTube channel as a way that I can release my words, or as my ex-husband often say, release my worms. But yeah, so yeah, because they say that, doesn't a woman have to speak 10,000 words or something like that a day to be able to sleep well at night? So yeah, this is like a little bit of therapy, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how we get on. It might be utterly ridiculous. I hope it is in some ways, because I'm not a very serious person. I hope that you can see that already. The fact that I've got a mouth pillow behind me and an eyeball there. I've got a wonky, huge collar on. I've got wind-swept hair. I am knackered. Look at this. So I don't take myself that much seriously. I try and have as much fun as I can. I try and see the funny side in everything. My mouth accidentally like says things before I've even thought about it, so then I have to do a lot of back chatting, and yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I am Emily. I am from Olive and Joy Skincare, and welcome to my channel. It's got up to almost 28 minutes now. I forgot my water, so I must go with my dry mouth. And I will see you next week with my results of my first week of having a patch. I'm going to go and put the patch on my bum now. Oh, I feel like it's a badge of honour. I'm really like, oh, I'm excited. Do I put it on my bum? Yeah, I want to put it on my bum, but then I'm like, also I'm a sea swimmer as well, so everyone's going to be like, ha, perimenopause. But I guess if it's behind me, I'm not going to notice it. But yeah, we shall. Well, this is just exciting, isn't it? I'm going to see you next week. I managed to talk for an extra minute there, so that's good going. I'm going to see you next week. I hope you have the most amazing week. If you want to email me with any questions or anything you want me to talk about, let me know. And yeah, just welcome. And welcome to my little family. And I will speak to you soon. Cheerio, and yeah, bye.